In April of 2023, we were offered this amazing opportunity. We were given a piece of land in the middle of a forest, completely for free. It's right next to this unused railway line, which we thought was pretty cool. It's been uninhabited forever, which means it was completely overgrown with brambles. There was absolutely no way in or out of the property. There was no walkway or paths or anything. It really was just overgrown bramble, and those thorns don't play. But with our IT and support technician backgrounds, we slashed our ways in, and we eventually found our way into this amazing clearing. Walking into this clearing, I knew we will make it work. It doesn't matter what it takes. We got to work immediately. We made a friend. His name is Spiniso, or Spinny, as we call him. And he has been there since day one. We even got some snow. It was awesome. We've had some postcard-worthy moments, and we've had some seriously cold moments. We've found places where snow doesn't melt on the property for weeks after. We found baby pine trees all over the place, and we found pieces of forest that we didn't even know existed. Between April and around July, we spent so much time planning the perfect wooden house in the KZN Midlands. Never mind that, we had no idea what was still ahead of us. We were still so young and naive. And then depression hit us with the force of 1,000 bricks, and not even the bricks to build the house. We knew that the wooden house wasn't working, but we didn't quite know which direction to go yet. So I sat on the couch and I played games, and I let my brain do its thing until one day inspiration hit again, and we could finally step foot back on the property. And oh my God, everything was right again. Everything was kind of overgrown again. We had to deal with a lot of bramble, but luckily they were only baby bramble, so they were much easier to get rid of this time around. Our friend Spiniso went and burnt all the piles of bramble that had dried out over winter, just so that we can avoid any runaway fires happening in the middle of a forest. That would obviously not be ideal. Spinny has been a lifesaver through all of this, and I honestly don't know how we would have done it without him. Our driveway, or what we would call our driveway, was completely rained out, so we had to make a plan to get this fencing up a hill. And it wasn't easy. This camera shot was also very awkward, so we felt like proper YouTubers for the first time. We could finally see all the fencing that had been done in the previous months before everything got to a standstill. And it was good, but it was not enough. We still needed about 90 meters of fencing to be done. But that's what we were there for. It was finally time. We were depression aware. No one was depressed here. And we got to it. We got the fencing done in 2 days. And in total, we had fenced about 450 meters, which is crazy. It's a crazy amount of fencing. And this shot is so cool because we'll never see this again. We'll never see just this empty open space because that's going to be a house. That is crazy to think. And we did this fencing. I had never done fencing in my life. I had no idea how it gets done. I didn't even know that you needed barbed wire to keep it up. I thought barbed wire was just an anti-theft story. But turns out that's actually a structural system. And now I know that. So basically, I'm a professional fence installer. I learned a lot, and that's the cool thing about this whole situation that we're in. I'm going to be learning so much about things that I never would have thought I'd be doing. Look, I look professional, and luckily Spaniso told me what to do most of the time, so I looked really cool doing it, but I was just holding the fence. We finally finished it. That was an amazing day. Oh my God, that was the best day. After months and months and months, we finished it. That sound in the background of the previous clip that sounds like a lightsaber is the wind going through the trees. That is some Twilight shit if I've ever seen any. We finally decided that bricks is the direction we are going, and we got our first load of bricks. We thought everything was going to be smooth sailing from here because why wouldn't it? In theory, if you pay for a service and for materials, you get that service and materials. There was a whole fight, and we will get into it later in the video. But initially, this first delivery was amazing. To see materials on site where we had thought a whole different house was going up was amazing. And I cannot describe that feeling. It was so cool. But getting the truck out was a disaster. The driveway was not drivewaying. But at least we had some bricks, and we even ended the day with a little farm gate and a little farm pedestrian gate that could be locked. And when we got home, we even had a rainbow, which is pretty cool. So while we were waiting for the weather to just relax and for us to be able to get back onto site with that terrible driveway so that we could fix it, we decided that we'll start planting so long because why not? We are planning on moving at the end of January. So having some crops ready to plant into the ground is a good idea. We didn't expect them to grow like mutants because they are going crazy, but it's fine. It's good. We even then took our dogs to site for the first time. We have 5 dogs. We have a small little Yorkie, and then we have 2 white German Shepherds mixed with Huskies. They are very, very skittish girls, so we haven't even tried to take them to site yet. We are planning on only taking them as soon as we move. But our 2 youngest ones, these 2 German Shepherds, which is Phoenix and Raven, they were good. We knew that we could take them because they are still young enough where they learn. We've learned from our mistakes with the white girls, so now we've just applied all of that to these 2, and they aren't as skittish at all, especially Raven Girl, the one that's running right now. She is so independent. Phoenix with his floppy ears. He's a mommy's boy, and it's perfect. We love him.
Hi, Raven. Are you very concerned?
Remember.
I had no idea yet, but my poor pale skin was about to be burned to a crisp on this day. It was so unbelievably hot. We knew it was going to be hot, and I thought I might burn, but I couldn't find my sunscreen, so I was just going to brave it out, which was a terrible plan. But Phoenix and Raven were fine, so I guess that's good. 2 days later, we were back on site because the rest of our order was supposed to be delivered. The first order came through. They can only do it in small sections because we have quite a narrow driveway gate, so they only use their small truck. The first load of bricks was a little bit later than we thought, but it was there. And we thought everything was going to go well. We didn't anticipate how hot it was going to be again. So after my sunburn from 2 days before, I got more sunburned. And we had very many hopes and dreams, as young, naive kids do. And we thought that we'll do the foundation that day. Yeah, that didn't happen. We sat and waited. I waited for about 4 hours after for the rest of the delivery to come, and they didn't show up yet. So I asked Sponiso, our lovely friend, to please just hang around. At the same time, he was also fixing our driveway because we didn't want to have any issues again with any trucks getting stuck, or even us, our little I-20. By this time, I had already been banished to the car because I really couldn't take any more sun damage. But I had at least taken the time to mark out the foundation. So our plan is to live in a shell while we build the rest of the house, and then also obviously finish it up. So initially it will be an unfinished shell just with the bricks, and it will obviously have a roof and the lockable windows and doors, but that's it really. Then while we live there, we will then figure out as we go. We still need to build 4 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, and also a mudroom because this place gets a lot of rain. But with current prices and inflation and Eskom prices, it just doesn't make sense to build a house while we still pay rent and electricity fees. So this just makes more sense. It technically is camping. We'll use primitive things like a long john. It's going to be perfect, and it's going to teach us all things that we really don't know. And it's going to be scary, but it will be exciting. Our delivery never showed up the previous day. So this was a Saturday that we scheduled to actually have everything delivered. I was still horribly sunburned, and it was so hot again. But it was a beautiful day, so it was still worth it. We sat and waited, and nothing showed up. I contacted them and they said, oh no, sorry, they got stuck because phones don't exist. Nothing ended up happening, but at least here I could see where our hallway is going to be, and it was so cool. It was really cool to just see at least where the foundation is marked out. It was just a little marking, but it's better than what it had been for months at a time, and actually seeing progress was better than nothing. Our plant babies also saw some progress. There were tiny, tiny little babies popping up, and I loved all of them. They were so cool, and I couldn't believe the progress we already saw. And we finally had a rainless, although very foggy day to try and get things done. So we were kind of just holding thumbs and hoping for the best. We had to make a plan to get things done because obviously we have to do what we have to do. And whether I have the right upper body strength or not, it doesn't matter. I get it done. And we finished doing all the rebar that we had to cut and bend. It was gross and it was rusty, but we did it. And we had to carry it across the road, a very busy road, back to site. The friend that gave us the property, his property is right across the road, so it's really, really easy to get back and forth. And by a foggy, almost Christmas miracle, the rest of our order finally arrived. I didn't even have to fight anymore. We also made another friend, his name is Innocent, and him and Spaniso killed this foundation. They completely had it sorted within a day. It was crazy. We had our rebar, we had everything on site that we needed, and it was all just up to us to get going. Our plant babies were also growing like mutants. I had no idea that they were going to go this fast. I had to transplant the peas and beans already because they had outgrown their little starter pods, and I didn't want to risk losing any of them. I also bought a strawberry plant because I am trying to cold stratify seeds, but I've never done it before, so I just wanted to give my berries a little chance ahead of time. I absolutely love seeing these little babies grow from seeds. These cucumbers are going crazy too, and it's so exciting to think that I can feed my family just from the garden. That is the whole point of going off-grid. We don't want to be stuck buying things from grocery stores anymore. I don't want to pay 20 Rand for a cucumber. It doesn't make any sense to me. This moment, being able to jump into the trench that we dug, was so crazy. We had dreams and plans and thoughts for months, and we were stuck. And finally we could see a physical change, and it was literally just the beginning.